demand curve. Now, if this is a constant, let me write down this thing here. P upon Q ratio. This is P. But I was explaining that change on a linear demand curve will be constant. At any point you take it, the change will be constant because it is linear demand curve. Change in P or change in Q, you will take it, it will be constant. This is the property of a linear, change is constant. So elasticity will vary on the ratio of P upon Q. Let us take this extreme point. Here price is 18 and the quantity here is 0. For example, if you divide by this thing, anything divided by 0 will be infinity. So elasticity at this extreme point will be, take this point, this is the P, okay, this divided by, let us say this is higher, so naturally elasticity will be greater than 1. If you take the midpoint, the P and the Q, they both are equal, therefore elasticity will be equal to 1. If you take any other point here below this midpoint, here the price is this much, whereas the quantity is larger, P upon K ratio. So the denominator is larger in magnitude, therefore elasticity will be less than 1. Take this extreme point. Here this Q is 0 and P, this is 0, P is 0 and Q is 18. So when P is 0 and Q is the maximum, it means that if you divide anything by this number, it will be 0. Both extreme possible. That is why one should take note of the fact that elasticity on a demand curve may vary, because the formula for calculation of elasticity, is not, this has been explained here. The slope of linear is constant, but its elasticity is not, because it may vary at higher price, at lower price, it may vary, and therefore the point which I am trying to explain is that, because some people think that elasticity, the demand curve is linear, therefore change will be constant. No, this not be that. Some people who are not aware, they may say that. Even that at a time when I was a student of MBA, that then what happened, that in the class, the teacher who was teaching us economics was BA in economics. At that time we had done masters, and we had 3 masters in economics at that time. So he explained this thing to us, and he said that this is constant on this. Whenever a huge debate erupted in the class, and then we clarified that it will not be same because of this reason which I am explaining to you. So you should take note of this. This is a technical thing, but I think that that this is important to understand. Now, another important thing which the managers, why they raise the price or why they decrease the price, because after all, they are interested in how much revenue they will get. For example, price increase or decrease, and if demand is elastic, means the greater than 1 you will coefficient. Inelastic, these extreme cases, okay, it will be less than 1, and unitary elastic means it will be equal to 1. So if we label it on a +1, and extreme case maybe so it in between. Now the point here is not that to understand the concept of elasticity, that for example a pricing decision in marketing, you study 4 P's of marketing. One of the most important factor in demand is price. So therefore the ultimate the effect of this change in price is to look at the revenue, whether it is going to bring more revenue total. This is the price, the quantity, the price of a good, and number of units sold is called total revenue. So the implication of the elasticity on revenue we can understand in light of the elasticity measure. For instance, if elasticity demand is elastic in greater than one, the coefficient you get it, what will affect to the revenue? If it is less than one, what will affect to? Right now, you should keep in mind that when I say elasticity, elastic, it means that the quantity demanded is more sensitive to change in price. Whereas inelastic means it is less sensitive in to change in price. Price may increase or decrease, but quantity demanded may not increase at that by the same magnitude. And unit elastic is a theoretical example where the you understand the departure from this, that greater or less, is that the revenue will the impact of price change on the quantity demanded will remain same irrespective of either increase or decrease in price. So, and in order to analyze this thing, we have to understand this equation. Revenue depends on P into Q. Okay. Now, if you increase price and demand is elastic, what I have just said, I will elaborate further. That if you increase price, since demand is elastic, therefore the price increase will bring about greater increase. Greater decrease in, because price and quantity demanded are inversely related. If you increase the price, then this, if it is this much effective increase in price, it will bring about a greater fall in the quantity, and as a result of that, total revenue will fall. And if demand is elastic and you decrease the price, let us say price is fallen by this, just look at the length of the arrow, just to explain. The quantity demanded will increase by higher than this. So therefore, it will pull up the revenue. And if demand is inelastic, okay, then price is increased by this much. Quantity demanded will fall, but this magnitude will be, lower than this. So therefore, total revenue will be pulled up because this is, this is greater in magnitude and like this. And fall, in case of fall, if it is this, the quantity demanded will increase, and therefore if the price is increased, total revenue will increase. But here the effect is this much, but the quantity demanded will be lower than this. Therefore, total revenue will fall. It means that the responsiveness is lower than this, and therefore the total. And in other case, the effect will be same. This magnitude will be same. This is an intuitive explanation in unitary elastic. Now let us come to the diagrams and try to understand this thing. Now this is the price elasticity formula. This is what I have explained to you just now. So the fall in revenue from lower is greater than the increase in revenue from higher as the revenue falls. This diagram will tell you. For instance, if P is this much, quantity demanded is will be 12, okay, units. It is given. So revenue will be 200 into 12. This is P, this is Q. Okay. So this will be 2,400. Now if price is increased to 250, total revenue will be naturally 250 into 8. This is 2,000. Now you see that earlier the total revenue was, if you this area. What is the loss in revenue? Because the loss in revenue is this area, and increase in revenue is this area. You can see here that this is smaller than this. So because of the increase in the price, if demand is elastic, total revenue will fall because of this effect. Because the effect of the quantity is greater than the increase in price, therefore it will pull down the total revenue. You can work out. I am leaving the other side same way for the fall in price. Take another. Total price is inelastic means less than. Whenever I say inelastic means lower than one coefficient. So if you increase the price, then what will happen? That the total revenue will increase because the increase in price, is greater than the decrease in demand. Therefore, it is the increase in price will lead to increase in revenue, not the fall in revenue. You can see here. You see that the price was earlier 200, 12 has been designed. And in last my lecture, just keep in mind that if you want to show on a graph the elastic, you have to create a flatter curve. And if you want to show the inelastic slide, then you have to. So that is why it is slightly steeper than the earlier curve, just for graphical representation. Now, if price is this much, then total revenue is, so you know, 12 multiplied by this. Now, if you increase the price and demand is inelastic, then what will happen? 250 into this, the quantity demanded has fallen from 12 to 10. But because of this increase in price higher than the fall in, therefore, it has pulled up the total demand. So in other case, when the demand was elastic, then this effect was much larger. And this is the increase. This part is the gain from the increase in price, and this is the lost revenue because of the fall in demand because of that. So the import of the thing is that the demand is inelastic. If you want to increase the price, total revenue will increase. If demand is inelastic, if you decrease the price, then total revenue will fall because the quantity will increase because of the fall, but the lost revenue on account of the fall in price will be greater than the increase in the quantity demanded, because demand is the inelastic, is not that much responsive. Unity elastic, there will no impact at all. So all these are explained here in my slides, and let us take some examples. For example, pharmacies raise the price of insulin by 10%. Does total expenditure in insulin rise or fall? The answer is that total expenditure will not fall because the insulin are inelastic. So, and this, as a result of fair war, the price, because this is very sensitive, demand for the price has fallen by 20%. So in this case, what will happen? Total revenue will rise, not fall. So this has been explained here. In my slides, you can go through. In the demand, Q will fall less than 10%, so expenditure rises. Does the P in QQ thus reduces revenue, but Q in Q, which increases, which effect is greater, so revenue rises because because the price has fallen, but the Q, the impact, the magnitude, the effect of is bigger, and therefore revenue rises because of this. So one can understand this thing. All these are explained in my slides in some more detail in one way or other. So as to reinforce these points further. So you can go through. Now, what are the managerial implications of these? In the managerial implication of these things, that price is one of the most important factors. Now, our company would like to see that if you increase or decrease price, how it is going to cause impact on the revenue. Otherwise, there is no. For instance, if you increase the price and without taking into account whether demand is elastic or inelastic, then what may happen that the if you increase the price and demand is elastic, then total revenue may fall because of that. And if demand is inelastic and increase the price, then it may bring more revenue. So that is why a knowledge about the elasticity can be. Now, for the organization level, and if organization has control over price, if it is operating in a market structure where it has, that the ability to set a price of a company depends upon which type of market structure one operates. For example, in monopoly, it has absolute control over price. In monopolistic competition, when 30, 35, then it has to look into whether if you decrease the price, whether or increase the price, how the competitors will react, and other kind of market structure. Like some countries, like let us say some companies which have control, like Apple and other, they can experiment this thing. For example, they can decrease the price and they see that how much revenue is generated. And in order to the implement it fully, they may start with the experimental, the test marketing by decreasing price in certain countries, certain stores, and so on and so forth, just to see that. For example, emerging market, another market like that. So that experiment can be carried out, especially in the age of digital products. It is very, for example, Amazon Prime subscription increase or decrease, and they see the impact on the. So that is why our internet has provided facility for carrying out these experiments, and which was not possible earlier. So this has been explained in my slide here. You can go through the crux. I have already told you that like this. For example, let me tell you that a study was carried out by there are certain certain sites, websites which provide the price for particular items. They from various sellers. For example, the memory chips and the other thing, they are similar. The specifications, so there are very similar standardized products. So, for example, the aggregators, those who provide. Now, a study was conducted to find out what is the impact of this. For example, seller tried their best to obfuscate, to hide the price. But what happened that it was found that the elasticity of such kind of product, where the consumer can search for the price, was as high as 25%. It means that if you increase price by 1%, the quantity demanded will be affected by. So that is why the digital, world and information products and internet has provided to carry out experiment which was not possible in economics earlier, unless you have that you conduct experiment, that you in one place, one store, another store, one city, another city, you have like that, and then you try to look at what is the effect of that. So you can go through this. I have already explained to you these points. Now, apart from price elasticity of demand, there is another method of for calculation of price elasticity, which we know as income elasticity. And you know that income is one of the factors behind the demand, and this is a very important for policy implications also. Government policy implications. As the income of the people increases in a country, what type of goods will be demanded more? So what is that relationship? How elastic is that? It may happen that if income increases, the demand for certain products may go down. Maybe they are inferior products, low quality products. People may start replacing it, or because of increase in income demand for certain products. So that is why the income elasticity of demand is also important. The formula is same, no difference. Only difference here is the percentage change in quantity demanded was the formula for price, and here there was a percentage change in price. So instead of that, we have put here income. Other calculation, everything is same. No difference. Only difference is that we have to take into account. We cannot ignore sign plus minus. Earlier, I told you in price elasticity, if you get a coefficient will always be negative because there is inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Therefore, it will be negative in all cases. It has to be negative coefficient. So that is why by implication it is one can know that if you say 1.2, it priceless, one will know that it is minus. But here you have to keep the sign in a sign in you cannot ignore sign, because if you ignore the sign, then it will connote different thing. For example, if it is a positive elasticity, if income change in quantity demanded is 10%, and the percentage change in is 20% for that matter. So are like that. So we will get a positive elasticity, but the thing is that so we will retain the sign. So if we get a figure which is greater than positive figure, so this means that the goods is a normal good. As income increases, quantity demanded will also increase because of this. But if you get that coefficient, if quantity demanded, income increasing and quantity demanded will fall, therefore what will happen that you will get the which will be less than zero, a negative number. So that will connote that the goods is inferior good, and that is why we have to take into account this factor. The figure will determine that the income and quantity, whether you will get a positive coefficient or not. But the calculation is exactly similar. No difference whatsoever. Only thing is that you have to take into account. And this is very important because that in economy where the income is growing, demand for certain products may experience decline, because when the poor people they get better, they higher income, they may replace it. For example, it does not mean that if income increases, people will take more bus rides for that matter, or like that. Maybe for environmental, considerations, if it takes the prominence, that may happen. Or for other, like in India, what happened that when the demand for the price of pulses increased, then it was pointed out that the poor in India, because they have got better purchasing power, they are replacing with the high protein products and so on and so forth. So this is a very important factor for understanding. Then there is another elasticity factor, and which we call cross elasticity. The demand for goods are related by substitutes and complements. The demand for any product. And you understand that complements are those products which can be used in place of other. That the price of this increases, X, the consumer may switch to Y if its price has not. So it may lead to higher demand for this product, the of Y. And complement products are those which are used together, X plus Y. You can't use it alone. Typical example of hardware, software, and so on and so forth. Teacher, student, you cannot increase the number, that without having how many people are opting MBA programs. So many pairing a typical example, car and gas, the petrol and other things are there. So that is why this is very important. For example, cross elasticity of demand tells us whether a good is substitute or whether a good is complementary. And let me tell you that this cross elasticity is very important for understanding that what is the source of competition, and various the litigations against antitrust law or anti-monopoly They also look at the cross elasticity, that how they are related to each other, whether they pose a competition or not. If the goods are, the complement, the substitutes, then these they are if they are complementary, so they may tell different story, that they are not competitors. So just I'm telling you that it has. So the formula for calculation of price elasticity has to be looked at carefully. You know that in percent, the formula is same in similar way, but there are slight difference. In the formula of price elasticity demand, it was percentage in quantity demanded for, because there was only one good. So therefore, it was X or X, same thing. Since we are trying to find out the relationship, the elasticity between two goods, therefore, we will in numerator we will take percentage in quantity demanded of good one. Let us say, okay, percentage change in price of, let us say, Coke. So here, when figures are given, the table is given, for example, PQ, the price of, let us say, X and quantity demanded, and at the same time, the Y is also given. So when you are picking up the numbers, change in other, you have to be careful, that you do not pick up the same number, like otherwise it will become price. You have to pick the quantity demanded for the X, whatever is whatever is asked, whether, and you have to be careful in picking calculating the price, percentage change in price of other goods. Okay, so that is why this difference has to be there. Otherwise, calculation like percentage change and other things remain same. No difference whatsoever. Only thing is just to take be careful in using this table if it is given, because you have to pick up the percentage in quantity demanded of a particular X and Y, or what is given. For example, maybe the specific name is given. Maybe it is given food and entertainment is given. So computer software hardware is given, demand for a student and teachers is given. So like that, the and so on. So you have to accordingly. Now, if you get a figure, if you get a coefficient which is greater than zero, it means positive. Anything greater than zero means it will be positive number. Here it will be negative number. Okay. One, if you show it on a, just for reminder, plus one, and if you get a greater than zero means positive coefficient, it means that goods are substitutes. If you get a coefficient which is less than zero, means negative number, then it means that the goods are complement. It can be understood by this equation itself. For instance, if it is computer hardware and software, the price percentage in quantity demanded for good A, let us say hardware. Percentage and let us say percentage in price of, let us say, software. So one will go up, another will go in another direction. So naturally, when it is like this, then the coefficient will be negative for that, because we are looking at the cross velocity. So that is why here also one has to take into reckoning the sign of the coefficient. Calculation, other thing remains same. There is no difference whatsoever. And as I said, that cross elasticity of demand is a very, very important measure. The how the change in one would respond to another. For instance, a study was carried out to look at the demand for just an experimental basis, demand for diaper and demand for coffee. It was experiment was carried out whether they are, what kind of good they are. So they carry experiment, so one can know about that, that seemingly one may not be looking remotely connected, but the study may show otherwise. So, but I'm pointing out, if you read even the judgments of the various the courts regarding the anti-competitive behavior of the firm, you will find that cross elasticity figures there, because that tells us about the relationship between the two products, what kind of relation. And like here, although it is slightly involved concept, but let me tell you uh, that the the complementary products, the hardware and software, produced by different companies. Now you see that they are also related in a way that if you increase the price of one, the demand for other may fall. So that is why their destiny may lie together. So that is why in recent times, the another terminology has come to mean that it means that you have to cooperate, competition plus cooperation in certain cases. Not that you some type of collusion will take place, co-optation. But I think that it is too early to for you to appreciate this. But just I'm telling you about that. So these are some of the concept of elasticity, and elasticity is a very important concept, and it has got various implications. These are some of the example, although from Western press, but that will tell you that gas uh, drive student online. We are now online. This was 2008 gas price by the and camel demand for as a like the uh, so these examples and other things tells us that the various products and their relationship uh, can be understood by computing the price, the elasticity, and other things. And I said that even if you do not have a figure like price changes and its impact, over a certain period of time, the companies can use this concept. And therefore, the point here is that bringing about change in price, one has cannot ignore the implication for, and that inevitably bring the concept of elasticity. You cannot ignore the concept because of its ramification, its effect on the total revenue. Because after all, a company is interested in increasing its total revenue. If a change in price is going to cause no effect on revenue or lead to decline in revenue, then that pricing strategy is not effective. It needs revisiting. It has to be looked into once again. So like that, and that is why these are important concepts. And one more thing is there, just in passing, I will just refer to this part. Same way we have calculated the price elasticity of demand, there is supply side also. That there are so many factors behind supply, like the one important factor is percentage change, price is there. How this is from the producer side, please understand it. Raw material cost is there and other things are there. So if we just use it instead of price of that raw material increase and how much is the responsibility change in increase and decrease in the raw material cost, whether supply will be augmented, or how does the supply respond to that. So this can be, and similarly, for example, not supply, but the demand, because in marketing, advertising, and promotional expenditure is very important. So there's a percentage in quantity demanded and percentage change in the promotional, or let us say advertisement budget. How much you spend and how much, what is that relationship? So that can also be. So there are, based on this prior concept, and there is elasticity of substitution of factors of production also. So many concepts are derived from this thing, but it is a very useful concept to understand the effect of one variable on another variable. So you can go through my slides. I have already supplied to you. And if you have any question, you can ask before I close, and just will make an announcement. Yes, I have also class final year after this. Announcement is that that I have completed first unit. So 12 classes I've engaged, you know, and in the beginning, then in definition, some classes were consumed. Normally 10 to 12 maximum we take it in. So unit 1 is completed and entire note and syllabus and all has been provided. Now regarding unit 2 and 3, which is again production, this is production side, and this is about market structure, microeconomics. This course will be shared by Dr. Tariq Aziz. Will be taught by Dr. Tariq Aziz. So he will interact from next week to you. And once he has finished this, the second and third unit, fourth and fifth unit, which is macroeconomics, will be taught by me. So for now, I close and will meet you, inshallah, in the fourth and fifth unit. But you know that if there is any difficulty, even in my or any of these things, I can engage the extra class, and I think that Dr. Tariq Aziz is very competent to handle these things. So he's sharing this course with me. So he'll
Sir?
be.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, please provide some questions for the first unit.
Some question for the first unit? In the
Yes,
form
sir.
of
The question that may be asked in exams.
The question that may be asked in exam.
सर लाइक द पेपर सर जैसे पेपर बनते हैं वैसे क्वेश्चंस यानी जैसे आते रहे हैं हर साल
प्रीवियस ईयर।
ऐसा है, पहले आप नोट्स पढ़ लीजिए, जस्ट गो थ्रू द नोट्स, ठीक है। कोई ऐसी चीज नहीं आएगी कि जो है वो दैट विल बी आउट ऑफ कोर्स, एंड मोर और लेस आई हैव डिस्कस दैट थिंग, ओके। So you will get taste of that through a formal assignment and test as well. But okay, some exercises I can provide. You can go through. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I do not know how far you have been able to understand. I tried my best to simplify to the possible extent. Those who have studied economics in this university or elsewhere as well, I think they can bail me out that the way economics is taught, especially in this university and other places, it makes economics, the understanding very, very difficult. It seems that economics is something you cannot understand. Although there are terminologies and that it will take some time. For example, those who are studying for the first time, they will find it, challenging. But I think that if you go through the notes and try to understand, that the more you read it and the more you will absorb the thing and things will become clear. So with this, I close and we'll see you in the fourth and fifth unit. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.